After the morning wonderful session that we had in the morning for Japa, uh,
For them.
the Japa inspiration that we received from His Grace Mahatma Prabhu, we are continuing to our second session now. And then tomorrow morning again, during the Bhagavatam class time, we'll have the third session. Today morning I could not introduce Prabhuji to my heart's satisfaction, but that I'll do now. So His Grace Mahatma Prabhu, he was born in Los Angeles, California in 1950. In 1969, at the age of 19, he first met Srila Prabhupada through the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and then later, in January of 1970, he moved into the temple at Berkeley, California, and shortly after received first and second initiation. He went on to do a variety of services, including book distribution, Sankirtan leader, temple president, college preaching, congregational development, and various educational projects. This has culminated in the work he does today, developing workshops, social media, online courses, and books, both for devotees as well as the general public.
I did the laundry when I was a brahmachari. I cleaned the bathrooms.
He practically shows the many ways that Krishna consciousness offers solutions to today's challenges, and writes and teaches in a way that resonates with devotees and people in general by helping them see life as a spiritual practice. Mahatma Prabhu is well known in ISKCON for his recorded and live music, most notably his recording of Brahma Samhita, and also for his workshops on such essential topics as Japa, forgiveness, humility, vows, and marriage. Prabhuji stays in Alachua, Florida, along with his wife Janava and daughter Shyama Mandali, and travels around the world for the most part of the year. And in Pune, we have His Grace Dinanath Prabhu and Manjari Mataji, who are his disciples. You can stand up now, please.
Hare Krishna.
So we are grateful to Dinanath Prabhu and Mataji. Because of them, we have the association of Mahatma Prabhu here. And we would like that Prabhuji regularly comes to BCC whenever he is visiting India and Pune. So let us welcome His Grace Mahatma Prabhu once again by chanting once the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. हरे कृष्णा. FM is available on FM हिंदी में जो लेक्चर है 106.5 FM पर आ रहा है इसका ट्रांसलेशन.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Watch, I'm going to play on the harmonium. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, have to show you how to play the kirtans. Not like you're playing. Just watch. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Watch me. When I go like this, you stop. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Got it? Hare Krishna. Give him another try. Krishna, before we fire him. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Bo Hari Bo, Hare Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time, everybody, get louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gophamanande. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna, Krishnaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta. For him. Here he says, it's okay. If I get tired, I can fall asleep. I want to start tonight's session. I want to do a review of what we talked about this morning, but I want to start with something I think will be really helpful for us. So I wanted to start by asking you, before we do anything, I want all of you to pray to the deities. And this is what I want you to pray for or about. And I want to kind of guide you how to do this. I want you to pray for something that you need, that's really important for you. Or pray for something you need to overcome. Something you lack, that you need, some problem you have, you need to overcome, some obstacle that's in the way of your devotion. And it could be as simple as, Krishna, I just want to love you. I don't have any love for you. But it should be something that's got a lot of emotion for you. We were talking this morning, if you've ever been in a situation where there's a lot of fear, you're afraid something bad is bound to happen, or you've been in a situation where you have to do something that's really difficult, often those are the best japa days ever. Right? Just completely, Krishna, help. I can't handle this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle this. Hare Krishna, it would just it's all emotion. Have you ever had that experience? It's like sometimes it's a blessing if things are difficult. Or sometimes it's a blessing if you have a service that's really difficult. Like you feel it's impossible. Because it makes you pray, but it's not artificial, it's real. You feel it deeply. You're in anxiety, you need this. Or you have an obstacle. And the obstacle is really problematic for you. You see this obstacle as, this is a big problem for my bhakti, and if I could just get rid of this obstacle, my spiritual life would be so much easier. You know what obstacle I'm talking about? Well, it's different for all of you, but I think we all know that obstacle, right? That one thing. If I could just move that out, whatever it is, I have this horrible anger, or it's greed, or it's lust, or it's pride, or it's envy. It's bad. It's bad. I wish I could get rid of it. You know that? Maybe you have a whole lot of problems. And they're all troubling you. Now what I want you to do is that thing that you feel you need the most, or the thing you need to overcome the most, or that thing which is causing you the most trouble, or that thing you want the most. I want to be humble. I want to be pure. But you have to have an emotional connection to it. And then if you find that thing and you connect emotionally, then when you pray to the deities, your prayer is going to be really strong. So that's what I want you to do. Can we do that? Can you find that thing? So this is, of course, a silent prayer. And the main thing I want you to do when you're praying is really feel that. Like if you have a problem, really feel how it's a problem. Or if you have a desire to achieve something in Krishna consciousness, really feel how important that is for you. Or how if you achieve that, how you would feel, the purity, the strength, the peace, whatever it is, you would feel. Okay? Can we do that? Okay, let's do it. So you can all face the deities and pray to them in your heart of hearts. When you finish your prayer, I just want you to sit and feel the emotion that you're offering the deities. Just sit with that emotion after you finish praying. And there, what I want you to do next is, as you're feeling that emotion that you're offering the deities, when you're ready, I want you to begin chanting Japa, and I want you to offer that emotion through the holy name. I want you to offer that prayer that you were just praying for now by feeling that emotion and offering that emotion through your Japa. So whenever you feel ready, now in a minute, 2 minutes, whenever you feel ready, you can begin chanting Japa with that same prayer, with that same emotion, now through the holy name. Don't do it before you, that emotion should be strong before you, make sure it's strong before you start chanting. And as you're chanting, if you lose connection with that emotion, just stop, find that emotion in your heart, and then again start chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, so just stop for a moment. We're going to continue. Let's pretend that what you're asking Krishna for, he doesn't really feel that you want it enough. Because the way you're chanting, it's not strong enough. You're not expressing it hard enough. And you have to convince him, whatever it is you're asking for, you have to convince him, you really want this. And how will you convince him? Well, whatever you feel, he'll feel. The intensity of your desire, he'll feel that. So, for the sake of a theoretical idea for this exercise, let's assume Krishna is not yet convinced. So Krishna is saying, I know what you want, but I'm not convinced you really want it. You're really serious. So now we're going to chant a little bit more. We want to increase the intensity, and so the goal is try to convince Krishna that you really want it. Right? And how do you convince him? Well, you have to feel it more strongly, right? So that doesn't mean that we don't focus on the holy name. The holy name is the person we're praying to. So that name, we're praying to that name, but we're intensifying the prayer, the emotion, whatever your prayer is, we're going to intensify it with the idea that I have to intensify it a little more to convince Krishna. So let's chant like that, and let's see if we can convince Krishna to fulfill this desire, that we really want it. Okay? Let's do it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, we're just going to go for a little bit longer. You just have a little bit of time left to convince Krishna. And he wants to know, he wants to feel that you really want this, that it's important, all right? So you got like 30 seconds left to convince Krishna. Can you do it? Let's try. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Okay. I want to ask you now to share. Anyone who wants to share, I want to ask you to share. What was your experience of this? And maybe your experience was that it was really good. Maybe your experience was that you had difficulty. I just would ask you, anyone who's willing to share, and then we'll pass the microphone. Do we have a microphone? Yeah, we can. He wants to share.
Hare Krishna. I asked for forgiveness because Krishna has given me so many chances to increase my devotion in bhakti, but I am not able to do that because of my anarthas. And I express my gratitude to Krishna for again and again giving me association of such a wonderful devotees in temples everywhere. And then tears start flowing my eyes little bit in the second intensity. That's
You
what-
were feeling Krishna reciprocating with that desire? Is that why you were crying?
I felt that Krishna is listening to me and assuring me, okay, you will make progress.
Wow.
So continue.
Wow.
And that's why tears started coming because Krishna heard my prayers.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt.
Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful.
Thank
You
you.
really, when you chant like this, raise your hand. How many of you felt Krishna was kind of willing to reciprocate? Raise your hand. Got a lot of people with a guilty conscience here, I think. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Yes. Over here.
Hare Krishna. So generally, before this seminar, when I'm making the attempt to hear, it was trying to attempt to hear mechanically. But when you told about having a emotion and a prayer, so and the Krishna being the person being the name himself, so that I felt I did not have to separately so much focus mechanically. That hearing came more natural.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And when you told about 30 seconds, that time I said, okay, put everything aside now. Just thank you.
In case you didn't realize what I just did here, I'm trying to teach you how you should chant every day for the rest of your life. This is not just like a coaching session to like get momentum going. This is the way you're supposed to do it. This is actual japa. That's why I did this exercise, to give you the experience of what you should be chanting like every day. And what you said is so important. He said, when I intensified it, then everything else in my mind went away, because that's the nature of intensity. It focuses. So you became more focused, right? Such a good example, isn't it? You became focused on it. Wow. So that would mean, if we accept this as true, that would mean when we're not focused, we're not intense. And I think we all know that. It's true. Huh? 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 Who else? Thank you. That's beautiful. Who else would like to share? Yes.
Hare Krishna. When you said start chanting, then I started with, okay, usual chanting, because I thought I'm doing good. But prayers in front, but chanting followed. Then you said, no, Krishna is not convinced. Then I increased my intensity by just being louder. But when you finally said, it's only 30 seconds, then nothing else other than crying for His mercy. Nothing else.
And what happened? What did you feel?
That last 30 seconds I felt could have been more than 30 minutes, not only just 30 seconds. Keep chanting like that.
Yeah. 16 rounds like that. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Imagine, I think if we ask, Krishna says, I reciprocate. I take 10 steps for every one you take. So I think we could all understand that if the intensity we had at the end was normal with our japa, I probably wouldn't have any problems in my spiritual life, because whatever problems I had, I could just ask Krishna to help. He would reciprocate with my intensity, and so my japa would be like, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Ashodhi Maya, the medicine to cure Maya. It would be, every morning would be amazing, and my day would be amazing, because I told Krishna what I want, and Krishna wants to help. And so I have a problem, and I want to express my problem to you because you can help me solve this problem. What I facilitated today is the way I try to chant every day. So I can't say it's perfect every day, but I try, and I have a lot of experiences like what you're having now every day. And I talk to hundreds of devotees who have no experience like this when they chant. And my problem is, it hurts me, because there's something in the holy name that is going to cure all our material disease, material contamination of the modes of nature. And so many devotees are just chanting and they're not connecting, they're just trying to get their rounds done. And so every morning, even though they're chanting, they're missing the experience of Krishna's reciprocation because they're not really asking for it. And so, as we said this morning, Krishna is reciprocating with what you're asking for, and usually you're not asking anything. So he's reciprocating with nothing because you're not asking. And that's why you feel nothing when you chant japa. We have a saying in America, and this came from the days when photocopy machines came out. And you remember those days, it wasn't digital. You know, you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And so sometimes you would photocopy a copy which was photocopied on an old machine, which wasn't that good, you know, it wasn't really dark. And so we had this saying, garbage in, garbage out. So you give me don't expect a good copy. Maybe now it's different because they digitize it or whatever. But in those days, it was just a photograph. And so it always came out, it was analog, it always came out worse than what you put in. Garbage in. So you give me a bad copy, it's going to come out bad, right? So garbage in, garbage out. You put garbage into Krishna, what's he going to give you back? You chant garbage japa, what do you get in reciprocation? Garbage. Not garbage, you just get nothing. So that's my problem. The devotees have this beautiful holy name, Jai Sri Krishna Sankirtan, that can solve all problems. You can connect with Krishna, you can offer your heart, you can pray for whatever you need or to overcome. And then so many devotees are just chanting to get their rounds done. And this whole realm of japa, they don't experience. And it's kind of like if you're a businessman and it's really easy to make money and you can show people how to make money, it's quite upsetting to see poor people. Because it's like so easy to make money, they just don't know how to do it. But I can show them. It's like that. Like I can show you how to do this. And so if you want to help me overcome my depression, then please just chant like this every day. And then I'll be very happy. Otherwise, I'm not coming back here. So I need letters from all of you. My japa is amazing. I'm crying, rolling on the floor. Of course, then I may not come back, and I think, well, I don't need to come back. I'll come back, and you give the japa class, and I'll listen. All right, who else wants to share? One of the ladies wants to share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the difference I felt was, I think until now, whatever chanting I was doing was without the purpose, it was only to complete the rounds.
Yes.
The moment you gave us the purpose of convincing Krishna, the intensity increased automatically and I could relate and connect to Krishna while chanting. and this was without beads.
Oh,
So even
wow.
without beads,
Yeah.
I could, I mean, just few minutes. So I think the purpose was missing until now.
Yes.
And once I got this purpose, it was, I could feel that Krishna is actually listening what I am
Wow.
asking for.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then, Kirtaniya Sadhari, if you got in that zone, why would you ever want to stop chanting? Yeah, isn't it? You know, it's like, if you get in this zone, I'll make a promise that after you chant like 5 rounds, and you look at your watch, you will think you were chanting 8 minutes, and you look at your watch and it was 35 minutes. You won't realize. And the opposite is true when you're chanting bad rounds. You know, I thought I was chanting for 35 minutes, and you look at your watch. Oh, it was only 8 minutes. It'll be the opposite. Yeah. Now, when we talk about prayer, japa as prayer, and putting emotion into prayer, some devotees, they get confused and say, you know, I don't know how I could pray and hear the holy name at the same time. And I say to them, when you pray to the deities, or if you pray to the deities, would it be a problem to hear your prayer while you pray? And they say, of course not. So why is it a problem to hear the holy name while you pray? And I've come to the conclusion, it's not a problem, it's only a conception that it's only an idea that is a problem, because we think we have to focus on hearing, and trying to focus on hearing so much that I can't, it's like I have to do 2 things. I have to juggle 2 things at once. But they're not actually 2 things. It's the same, it's one thing, but we think it's 2. Because when you pray to the deities, no one has a problem. Like, oh, how do I focus on my prayer and feel the prayer? Nobody would say that. It doesn't make any sense, does it? It's not a, you know how sometimes we complicate things that aren't complicated? And so that's something we complicate, but it's not complicated. So I wanted to do this praying to show that the Maha Mantra is a prayer no different than any prayer you would offer the deity. And the point is, when we pray to the deity, I've never heard anyone ever ask me the question, Prabhu, can you help me? How do I control my mind when I pray to the deity? I've never had anyone ask that question, because it's not a problem. Right? It's only a problem when we're chanting japa, when we don't understand that japa is a prayer and we think it's some mechanical meditation process. Then we have that problem. How do I control my mind when I'm chanting? Isn't that interesting? That no one has a problem when they're praying to the deities. I can't pray, my mind's all over the place. No, you're looking at the deities, it's pretty easy. And as I said earlier, the more intense the need, the more intense the prayer, and as you said, the more the mind is fixed. So I think it's quite simple. And that's why I wanted to do this exercise. I just wanted to equate prayer with japa, which it is, and give you the experience. I'm very happy to hear your sharing. Anyone else want to share? You can share if it was difficult. You can also share. Yes.
Microphone with me.
Yes.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. It is interesting experience, because sometimes you are taught not to think anything else besides Krishna, besides his leelas and so on. And so you just sometimes think that it's your own deals, your problems. You have some problems, and so you have to deal with them. Why should you pray for it? Mm-hmm. And also one realization that came to me, that you have some anarthas, and before asking for Krishna to help him to deprive it from from you, release, yes. You should understand that it is a real problem for you, because sometimes we so got used to these anarthas. For example, anger. We just make excuses for us. It helps me in so and so, and we so get used to it. So we don't think it's a problem for me. And with another anarthas, so it's normal. It's part of our life, of our nature. So maybe sometimes you say, how it can be without it. and we don't pray for Krishna to to release it, even.
I think that's laziness, don't you? Ultimately, it could be ignorance, like I didn't know.
No, sometimes you see, but you feel so bad that you have so bad traits of your character, and sometimes it's easier not to think about it because you feel not comfortable with it. You try to work with it.
Oh, you
but
try to forget it. You don't want to.
sometimes forget, but sometimes to make excuses, to work with it another way, but you feel depressed when you see reality that you have so much anarthas.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you something that something beautiful Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. If we look at the third verse of Shishastakam, it looks kind of like impossible to follow, doesn't it? Like I'm supposed to be humble like a blade of grass. Okay, Prabhus, I am going to sit at the doorway, so when you leave, please walk on me. I'm just going to lay on the floor and please walk. Any volunteers for that program? Now, I will let you volunteer for that program only if you feel lower than a blade of grass. So that's the qualification. Anybody feel lower than a blade of grass? Anybody want to feel lower than a blade of grass? Kind of like, feel lower than a blade of grass. That means everyone's going to walk over me. I don't know about that. Let me think. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good, does it? At least, even if it sounds good to you, it sounds pretty difficult, right? Tolerant like a tree, and the example is you chop down a tree and the tree doesn't complain, right? If you're in line for prasadam and someone accidentally walks in front of you, you might complain. That's not as bad as a tree being chopped down, but we might complain, right? Somebody cuts in front of you, you might complain, right? The Uber driver, the taxi driver charges you 2 rupees too much. You might complain, right? So to be tolerant like a tree, that means, someone's chopping you and it's like, fine, here's, I give you my shade. And that's like, who can do that? And again, how many people in the world would even want to do that? Or even if they wanted, who would even try, right? And then this one, this next line is very interesting. Amanina manadena, offering all respects to others and not wanting any respect for myself. You can all say, wow. That is a real wow, right? Like, I don't want any respect. Okay. I just want to give respects to others. To everyone. I want to respect everyone. Not just devotees, not just good devotees, but everyone on the street. Respect. You're better than me. Respect means higher. So, like, could you imagine seeing everyone in this world higher than you? That's inconceivable. I mean, we can imagine a pure devotee sees everyone spiritually higher, but to see everyone as better than I am, that's like no ego, right? Ego is like a blade of grass. And then not wanting any respect for myself. So imagine we have a big festival, and you're cooking for the festival, and you're staying up every night till midnight, and coming back in the kitchen at 4 a.m. and you're cooking all day, and you did that for 3 days. And after the festival, when we're giving appreciations, everyone in the kitchen got an appreciation, and they only worked 3 hours a day, and you didn't. How would you feel? Never cooking again in this temple. Or would you feel, if you were more advanced, you would feel, beautiful, I'm glad they didn't say anything. Like how many people would feel, I'm glad they didn't say anything? Not a lot. Maybe some of you would. But I think most of us would be upset. Like, why are these people cooking 3 hours a day getting recognition? I almost killed myself and nobody said anything. There are people who actually have left ISKCON because of things like this. You know that? So now we look at this verse and we're supposed to chant japa in a humble state of mind when we've been given 4 things to do that are pretty much impossible to do in our present state. Have you ever thought about this? Like, how am I supposed to chant in a humble state of mind when I can't do any of these 4 things? You know, or I could delude myself and think that I could, but I can't. I think if we're honest, we can't do that. A little bit, maybe you could try. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had said something we can do, and it relates to your comment. He said, humility in relation to chanting is the devotee thinks, I feel completely unqualified, incapable of becoming Krishna conscious, of getting Krishna prema. I can't. It is so difficult. I can't imagine how I could do it. You ever feel that way? You know, you look at Krishna prema and like, is that even possible? Like, how will I do that? You know, I can hardly perfectly control myself. Like you say, I have issues with anger, or I have issues with envy. We all have issues with something, isn't it? Resentment, or sense control, or greed, or pride. And then we think of love of Krishna, like, how am I going to do this? So he said, that feeling that this is impossible, when it turns into humility, you approach Krishna in the mood when you're chanting that I can't do this without your help. Hare Krishna means I need your help. I need your help. Whether it's anger, or I want prema, or whatever it is I want to overcome. The humility, because humility means helplessness. Pride is I don't need your help. I'll do it myself. Humility is helplessness. So it's a very easy way for us to chant the holy name. And so when we sit down to chant, we have this ultimate objective to love Krishna, which is, as we know, not easy. And like your anger and all that, that's just things that are getting in the way of that objective, and I have to move them out, right? The anger, the envy, the greed, the lust. I want to love Krishna. That's the ultimate goal. All these things are in the way. And so, Krishna, I'm going to you and saying, Krishna, there's no way I can do this. It's just impossible. Like, me, love you, develop love for you, overcome these urges and pushings. I just went on an Ayurvedic diet about a month ago, so no sugar, no milk products except cultured ghee, no fruit, pretty much green mung dal at every meal, no wheat chapatis, no nightshades, that means no potatoes. Do you imagine? How could you live without potatoes? Could you even be called a bona fide Hare Krishna if you don't eat potatoes? I don't think so. Before I was on this diet, I had a little menu because I travel, and so people want to know what I cook, and I put no potatoes. And I could eat them. It's not that I thought they were so healthy. I could eat them. And they would say, why, you don't like potatoes? And I say, I do. And they'd say, why is potato, if you like them, why is it not on the diet sheet? I said, because if I put it on the diet sheet, you would cook them at every meal. Because you're an ISKCON devotee. And that's what ISKCON devotee cooks do, right? Potatoes at every meal, right? So, no nightshades, no tomatoes, no potatoes, no eggplant, no pepper, or whatever you call the pepper. You have a different name? Capsicum. No capsicum. And my wife's thinking, she's looking at the diet and she's thinking, you know, I think I should follow that diet. And she's watching me follow the diet and she says, I don't think I can follow it. It's too austere. Well, when I travel, I have people cooking, and you all Indians like to cook, so it's not so austere. but still, there's certain things you can't eat. And so, this is just a reality, you know? I mean, how many of you could follow that diet? Okay, no chapati, forget it. It's over. No potatoes, I'd kill myself, right? No brinjal and tomato sabji with curd, oh my God. Why would I even get out of bed, you know? So, these things are hard, and we know they're hard. And so every morning when we're approaching the Holy Name, if we're approaching the Holy Name in humility, there's this feeling that I am stupid enough to dedicate my life to this project of trying to love Krishna. Like, that's impossible, basically. And so Krishna, I decided to do it. And if you don't help me, please help me, I can't do this. So that I can't do this, I need your help. That's humility. And I can do this, I don't need your help. That's pride, right? So that's how we chant the holy name in humility. So, Dasha was saying, anger, it's just, I want to love you, anger's in the way. Please help me. This is getting in the way. We're doing a retreat, and we're in Govardhan. I would invite you, but I don't think there's room left. I mean, unless you want to sleep with 10 other people in one room, or maybe 20 or 30, I don't know. But the private rooms are there. Anyway, if you're in Vrindavan, you can come by for the day or something. We're going to do an exercise. And this exercise, I mean, you can do this also. You can do it here with a friend. This exercise is called Couples Therapy with Krishna. So, couples therapy is the man and the woman come together and there's a mediator or a counselor and they each talk about the problem they have with the other. So we're going to do couples therapy with Krishna, except you're going to play Krishna and your partner's going to play you. So you have to talk to yourself. And so Krishna's going to say what problems he has in the relationship with you. Interesting exercise, right? So Krishna might say, what is this nish nish ram ram? Like, you don't like me or something? You have issues with me? Like why are you trying to compete with me? I love you. So and so once you do this, it's like, wow, this Krishna, I need help mantra. You're really going to need it because you're going to see, I'm probably a lot worse than I thought I was, right? So that's the idea. So whatever is in the way of pure bhakti, we're just praying to Krishna to help us because that's the only way we're going to do it. It was you can't do it on your own. But the beauty is Krishna wants to help you. But he only wants to help you if you want him to help you. Otherwise, like devotees say, why should I pray? Because Krishna already knows what I want. All right, you want 100 things. How does he know which one if you don't tell him? Right? But also, prayer is good for you to verbalize what it is you want. So you realize this is a problem. When you pray, Krishna, help me with this, you're reinforcing to yourself, this is a problem I have to deal with, right? That's the beauty of prayer. People don't realize it. Why should I pray? He already knows. No, verbalize what the problem is because you're telling yourself, I need to deal with this. And of course, Krishna wants to hear. He wants to know. Do you really want me to help you with this? I'm willing, but you have to let me know. Right? And so, every morning when you're chanting, it's an opportunity to let Krishna know, or let Krishna know nothing. And so what a waste that is, right? I just chanted 16 rounds, got them done, and I didn't tell Krishna anything, and the Maha Mantra is a prayer, and I didn't say anything. It's like, could you imagine praying to the deities but not praying? Just standing there and nothing? Have you ever done that? I'm sure we've all done that. We just looked at the deities, but we should pray. It's more, right? It's more powerful. Take darshan, yeah, but you should pray. You know what we did in one temple in 1972? During greeting of the deities, we would all come and we would all pray. We'd all say prayers out loud, and we would line up and stand in front of the deities, tell them what we did that day, tell them what we need. That's part of our process, right? So Japa, kirtan includes hearing, because we're hearing, it includes praying, it includes remembering, all of these things. Actually, it includes all 9 processes. Anyone else want to say something? Yes, over here.
Hare Krishna. I was wondering, I wanted to share with all of you, like, I wanted to ask you also rather, what if we consider each round while chanting as the last round of our life?
Yeah.
Will it make more intense? Because I
Oh,
try to
yeah.
do that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
within that round, I try to do every beat as the last beat. Maybe this is my last breath.
Yeah.
So this is the last time I'm going to get chance in this lifetime. So that makes my prayer, I don't know prayer, but yes, chanting more intense and more focused. That relation.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a little nuance to that. Sometimes I'm chanting and I'm listening to myself and I'm kind of looking at my chanting and the thought comes, if I was chanting like this at the time of death, I'm not trying to chant like it's the time of death, but I'm asking myself, if these were my last rounds, would I be okay with that? What do you think the answer normally is? Not really. This is not good enough. And then I'm thinking, okay, so what kind of japa would be good enough? And I start working on it. Now here's another thought. I always think, I don't always think, but sometimes when I'm chanting, I'm thinking, so I'm going to probably be chanting, hopefully, at the time, if I have one of those good deaths where they say you have 7 days to live and, tell you what time you're dying and you can prepare and, that's what I'm hoping will happen, But, so, I'm thinking, when I'm at the time of death, then all the chanting that I did in my life is preparing me so that I can chant purely then, because it's going to be like a lot more difficult, don't you think, to chant really good rounds at the time of death after 50 years of bad rounds? It's like, we're supposed to be practicing for the time of death, and I don't want to realize when I'm dying that I haven't been practicing, or I've been practicing the wrong chanting. So I think that's also a nice meditation, that I'm chanting because I want to chant purely at the time of death. So let me practice now chanting in a way that I would like to be chanting when I'm dying. That's very helpful. Thank you for sharing. You agree? You all think that's a good idea? That was Ayendra always said that. And I was in a lecture. Prabhupada was talking about Parikshit Maharaj and telling us that he had 7 days to live, and Prabhupada said, but you don't know if you have 7 moments. So this kind of chanting it's good because you don't really know. There's no guarantee. I mean, we all don't think we're going to die today, but Prabhupada said there's no guarantee, and we know that. And I was saying this morning how appreciation of the position we're in, this valuable position we're in, that we have the holy name and we have bhakti, is very, very important. Because in life, things we don't appreciate are taken for granted. Yes? That's just normal, right? And the things you appreciate are taken, are relished and cherished, right? So I think it's important for all of us, if we want to improve our chanting, there's got to be some foundation of appreciation. And so, if you're not chanting good rounds, it's hard to appreciate, isn't it? But when you're having good experiences with the holy name, it makes it easier to appreciate. And when you appreciate, it makes it easier to chant good rounds. They work together. So let's think of ways we can appreciate. And I think one of the things that we obviously should be appreciating is that the holy name is so powerful. He can purify anyone. And even though we're disqualified, Mahaprabhu's put so much mercy in the holy name that any of us can become pure devotees by chanting. And there's no other way we could become pure devotees. It doesn't matter. You could become pious. You could become purified. There's many things you could do. But to become a pure devotee of Krishna, it's only through the chanting of the holy name that it's going to be possible. And we all have the holy name. That's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And let us appreciate this verse, Om Apavitra Pavitrava. You know that verse. We chanted it at initiation. Whether you're pavitra, apavitra, pure or impure. Sarvavashtam kutopiva, which means whatever you've done, wherever you've come off of, I don't know what you've done in the past, where you've been, but if you remember Krishna, in this case, if you chant the holy name, you'll become purified, right? So why do we have this famous story? It's such a famous story. Everybody knows this story of Jagai and Madhai. Like, sometimes there's stories in Shastra we kind of know, but we don't know well, isn't it? Or sometimes we don't know for some reason. Maybe the story's not that important. But this story, everybody knows. And so, why is this story significant? It's significant because when people come to Krishna consciousness, people will have doubts whether they can become purified. And why would you even want to do this if you doubt that you can become purified? And this story of Jagai and Madhai is meant to take away that doubt. Because you might say, I don't think I can become pure because I've done so many bad things, I'm not whatever, And my question to you would be, do you think you're as bad as Jagai and Madhai? And you could be artificially humble and say yes, but if you're honest, you have to say no. Because nobody was as bad as them. Well, there was one other person worse than them, but that's only the other person that was as bad as them. So for the sake of discussion, we'll say nobody was as bad as them, and the holy name made them pure devotees. Don't you think that's encouraging? And so when we're chanting and we're praying, Krishna, please help us, we need to have faith that the holy name, despite our past karmas, samskaras, pop, whatever, the holy name can purify us and we can become pure devotees. And with that faith, then we can pray to Krishna, please help me become a pure devotee, because I know it can happen. I know you can do it. We have to chant in that mood. Yes? Yeah. Yes? Yes? Yes. Huh? Yeah, okay. So some of you weren't here this morning, and I think it's important that we talk about the essence of what we talked about this morning, not just for the new people, but for everyone who was here as well, because I don't want to go on further to anything until I'm confident that you understand. I think this exercise kind of helped you through experience understand. But everything we talked about this morning, I think we need to make sure we understand and we're clear, and we can always take everything deeper. And so what I want to do now is I want to ask any of you who were here this morning, if you would like to share something that was meaningful to you that you learned, or a realization that you had, or an experience that you had, so that we can review what we learned this morning. So all you have to do, if you want to share, it's not a test. I'm not going to say you're wrong. That's not what I said. We're going to use this as an opportunity to discuss and maybe also elaborate on what I said, and use it as an opportunity to take this workshop a little further to the next level. So yes. We have a microphone for her?
Hare Krishna. Morning we discussed that Krishna reciprocates to whatever emotion we have, and when we do not have emotion in our japa, so Krishna is not present in japa. And we discuss about the couple who are living for many years together, but they are not talking to each other, but they are continuing with the marriage. There is no divorce. In the same way, if we are continuing with the japa without emotion, we can go along, but there will be no progress. Thirdly, we talked about the
I have to make
insurance.
a comment on that one. I've been chanting japa for 50 years and I never talked to Krishna, right? I never said anything to him. That's pretty scary. Yeah. Okay.
And we talked about the insurance company that we think that we are paying the premium, but when we are about to die, we come to know that we don't have any insurance, and that is really shocking. So in the same way, if we are not properly doing our japa, at the end, deathbed, we may know that we are not able to chant.
Yeah.
Uh,
I gave this example the other night that you're depositing 16 rounds or how many rounds you chant every day. You're depositing that in your spiritual bank account. And as we said, we're preparing our life for dying. And so we hope at the end of the life, we have a lot of, money in that account. And so we go to the bank, I'm like 80 years old. I'm ready to leave my body. We go to the bank and we want to, get these Japa credits because I need them to leave in Krishna consciousness, and I go to take out the money. And we calculated if you chant 50 years, maybe 51 years, you'll have 300,000 Japa points because you'll chant 300,000 rounds in 50 years. That's interesting, right? It's a lot of rounds. And so I want to now take out my rounds and benefit from them, and they go. And they come back and they say, there's nothing in your account. And they say, there must be some mistake here. And then they say, well, let me look it up and find out. So they check out and they found out that all the deposits were counterfeit. All that japa you deposited was counterfeit japa. There's nothing in there. So, my dear devotees, you don't want to die with a bank full of counterfeit notes, do you? I hope not. And so after I told this story, it really shook up a lot of devotees because they started to realize, I wonder how much I actually have in my account. Like how many real proper rounds did I deposit? And one devotee I was with said, I think my bank account is completely empty. I don't think I've deposited any. And if I'm going to make a promise. Well, it's really not my promise. If you chant your rounds properly, you will not have spiritual difficulty. You might have material difficulty because japa may not solve all your material problems, but you won't have spirit. If you have material problems that affect you spiritually, that's another thing. But anartas and so forth, you won't have problems with those. That's the power of the holy name. So it's so sad if we don't connect properly with the holy name, isn't it? And we have problems even though we're chanting because we're chanting counterfeit rounds and there's nothing in the account. That's very sad. Don't you think? Now you might say, really? Is chanting not really beneficial? Is there really nothing there? I don't want to say there's nothing there and it's not beneficial. But I think you can have your own experience between what is real japa and what isn't, and you can experience the difference. You had more to share?
Yes, when we do our japa in Namaparat stage, we get material benefit. In Namabhas, we get everything but not Krishna Prem. In Shuddhana, we get Krishna Prem. And thirdly, it may seem difficult, but Prabhupada says that if you are trying, then it's as good as you are Namabhas, but you will get the benefit.
Yeah, that's such an important point. Have you ever done some service and it wasn't anything special and you were kind of not so happy? Has that ever happened to you? Like you go on book distribution all day and distribute 2 books. And the devotee next to you distributes 4,000. And you're not really happy about that, right? You kind of don't like that devotee anymore. Prabhu, I hate you. You ever have that experience? And so what we're doing is we're evaluating the value of our service based on something external. And so if you did that with Srila Prabhupada in 1965, he didn't really have a lot to show. He had the Bhagavatams, he had 1 disciple, and he had 3 books. And he had some Bhakti-guided magazines. No movement. He tried to start a temple in Jhansi, and it didn't happen. So if you were to analyze, this doesn't look like World Acharya, does it? But Prabhupada said, it's not a question of what you do, it's a question of how much you try. And Prabhupada said, Krishna, even if you don't do well or you fail, Krishna sees that you tried. So I think that's really important, right? Because sometimes you're going to try to chant good rounds and you're going to do everything that we learn in this workshop, and you can read every book on Japa and do everything, but some days it's not going to click well. It's just, you're not going to really be able to do it. But if you try, that's your perfection. That Krishna sees that. And sometimes the only thing we can do is try. We have I want to do something great, but maybe I can't. I can just try to do what I can do. And there's a beautiful story. Would you like to hear a beautiful story? This is one of the most beautiful stories that I've ever heard about Srila Prabhupada. Are you interested? Nitai Gaura Chandra ki jai ho. There was a devotee who was having difficulty. And sometimes what happens for a devotee is they're steady for some time and then they fall. Give in to something, whatever. Could be something big, could be something small, but some deviation. And then they get themselves back up and then they're steady for some time and then they fall. I'm not saying that it happens to a lot of devotees, but it's not uncommon. And so Prabhupada received a letter from a devotee, and he was describing that he was doing well for a few months, but then he would slip. I don't know what he was falling into. But we can understand he was either not chanting his rounds or breaking a principle or both. But then he'd get back up and be steady. And Prabhupada had one of his disciples read the letter. And you know what Prabhupada's comment was? Because every time he fell, he would get back up and try. And you might think, when Prabhupada heard the letter, you might think Prabhupada was just like, what's the use? I reject you. Why even try? You could think that could be a possible response, right? Like, what's wrong with him? He's not sincere, etc., etc. You know what Prabhupada said? He glorified that devotee and he said, just see how much he's trying. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Just see how much he's trying. I bet some of you in your mind are thinking Prabhupada was going to chastise him or reject him. Yes? Or be heavy with him or criticize him. Just see how he's trying. And so Prabhupada said, if you try and you fail, Krishna doesn't see the failure. He sees how much time you spent trying. I mean, it's not an excuse to not do our service well. But in a particular situation, you're doing your best and it doesn't always come out the best. Prabhupada said, Krishna sees how much time you spent. Isn't that beautiful? Now, for us, in our society today, our society conditions us to evaluate our success based on external, what do you call that? Metrics, yeah. Isn't it? How many did you sell? Let's see, right? What did you contribute? How many hours? What did you produce? What's the label on your purse? What's the label on your shoes? What car do you drive? What's the position you have in the company? What's your neighborhood? And so we're constantly being evaluated, isn't it? Right? In some sections of society, like if you don't have high-end labels on everything, some people won't even talk to you, right? Yes? Yeah, I've been told that. So that has an effect on us, because when we're being judged by that, we start to judge ourselves that way also. And here's the problem, and this is a big problem, so please listen. We are judging ourselves based on our external success, and Krishna's judging ourselves based on our effort. And so if I think I have to do something to impress Krishna, then I'm misunderstanding what impresses him. And I'm coming from a material conditioning thinking everyone is impressed by producing a result. Krishna also would be impressed by producing a result. So I'm misunderstanding Krishna, thinking he's like everybody else. Does that make sense to you? And so we project our conditioning on Krishna, thinking he's like everyone else, and I can buy him, so to speak. I'll distribute 1,000 Gitas, and it's like I don't have to chant my rounds tomorrow because Krishna loves me for that. Or I distribute 2 and I'm a failure. We have to see Krishna consciousness through the eyes of Krishna, not through our own eyes projecting what we think Krishna likes and doesn't like. Because if we do that, then we misunderstand Krishna. And not only do we misunderstand Krishna, but we put on Krishna qualities and emotions that he doesn't have. And that's unfair to him and unfair to ourselves. Yes? Did you understand what I said? It's pretty simple, right? It's like if I make a judgment about Kanai Thakur, how he feels about me, which is not how he feels about me, because I just have some problem and I think he sees my problem and he's judging me or whatever, but he's not. That's very unfair to him, isn't it? Right? I have to see how he sees me through how he sees me, not how I think he sees me. And if I think he's seeing me in a negative way and he's seeing me in a positive way, that's very wrong, it's very unkind, it's judgmental, even offensive. Yes? And we do the same thing with Krishna. Oh, Krishna doesn't like me. Why? Because I didn't do 1,000 Bhagavad Gitas. Because Krishna doesn't like me. Why? Because I came to Mangal Artik at 4:30 and 1 second, and the conch shell already blew and I wasn't in the temple. It's like, okay. Why would you think that way about Krishna? You think he's that bad, And so we made this point about how Krishna sees the effort, and your effort to chant well is really more important in a sense than chanting well. Because you can't always chant well all the time, even though you try. But if you try, you should be satisfied that I'm trying my best. Some devotees are not satisfied with trying their best. They're like depressed, they're discouraged, they beat themselves up. I can't think of anything worse you could do to yourself than beat yourself up for trying your best because you don't think your best is good enough. But you can't do any better. It's not possible. Today, at this stage of your devotional service, you're trying your best and you can't do any better than that, but you're telling yourself your best isn't good enough and you're depressed. That's really bad, don't you think? Especially in the light of the fact that Krishna may be actually happy with it. Yes.
Isn't there a message from Krishna to us while we're not getting our best by trying our best? That you are the supreme controller, Krishna is supreme controller of everything. That's what we have taken from that.
Yeah, well, that's,
By trying our best, we're
yeah.
not getting the best. Because Krishna is
Yeah, we're not controllers. Yeah, we can't control the result. We can control the effort. A lot of that is also coming from a lack of self-acceptance. Like I want to be better, I can't accept myself the way I am, even though Krishna is. I mean, like, what did you do to deserve to come to Krishna consciousness? What did we do? Who knows? Maybe nothing. It's hard to say. But Krishna wanted to give it. I once asked one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers a question that I think many of us have. I said, you know, logically speaking, when you give a lot to somebody, you usually give more to those who deserve it, and less or nothing to those who don't deserve it. But Mahaprabhu did the opposite. He gave the most to the people who deserve it less. I said, why did you do that? And I'll paraphrase his answer. He didn't exactly say this, but he basically said, because he wanted to. And he said, if a man has billions of dollars and he wants to give millions to people, like he just wants to do it, he does it. It doesn't have to be a reason. It's just what he wants to do. And so, why did Mahaprabhu give the highest thing to the lowest people? Because he felt like it. Okay, Mahaprabhu, if you feel like it, I'll take it. You know, I'm in the right place at the right time, you know, the right planet, the right time of Kali Yuga. Okay, let's go for it. I'm good, you know. That, and I'm not qualified, and I'm not as great as I'd like to be, but I'm just going to try my best, because that's all I can do. And I'm going to be satisfied that I tried my best. And if you try your best and you're not satisfied, that's wrong. That's not, Krishna does not want you to be unhappy with what you're producing if you're trying your best. If you're not trying your best, that's different. But if you're trying your best, please don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself if you're trying your best. It's wrong. And if you chant, and your rounds are not as good as you want them to be, but you tried your best, then please be satisfied. Oh, today I tried my best. The rounds weren't good, but I tried my best. Be happy. Take pleasure in your effort to try to please Krishna. And there's always tomorrow. The world isn't over. Yes? Thank you for that. Anything else you want to share?
Occasion of Advaita Acharya's appearance day, you told that the incarnation of Brahma and Shiva also said that in Kali Yuga people, I cannot manage. So he called Mahaprabhu to incarnate for the Kali Yuga people. And also you said that we should feel that we are fortunate because and we should appreciate this opportunity, because if we miss it, we will get it after 8 billion.
640 million.
400.
640 million.
640 million years. So we have to appreciate what we have got right now.
Yeah. It's a very heavy purport Prabhupada wrote. If you don't get Mahaprabhu's mercy, you may have to wait 640 million years to get it again. If that doesn't wake you up, like, I don't know what would, you know, because that's like, you know. My dear devotees, you're in the right place at the right time. And if you take your Krishna consciousness seriously, if you take, okay, this is another problem. I don't know if I talked about this morning, but I think I talked about it in another temple. That a lot of us take our material lives with more intention, devotion, energy, and determination than we take our spiritual lives. That's backwards. Don't you think that's backwards? Like, you know, if I have a choice of being materially successful or going back to Godhead, it should be an easy choice. It's not that you shouldn't be materially successful, but there's something a little strange about being more determined materially than we are spiritually. There's something has to be balanced in our life, because the opportunity to be materially successful comes in every life. The opportunity to go back to Godhead in one life and meet a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada and be born 500 years after Mahaprabhu is extremely rare. So it doesn't make sense to in any way compromise or sacrifice that for material gain, does it? And so I've noticed, like in America, the Indian community is the wealthiest minority in America. I don't know about Europe, but probably the same. And that means the people who make it to America in many cases are the top students, the top people in India, and they come there. And often I tell them, I say that I know for you to be in America and be gainfully employed, you've got to be pretty determined and pretty controlled, and you must have worked really hard to do this. Why don't you work that hard for Krishna consciousness? They're not working that hard for Krishna. They're working, yeah. So that's something really important. Really, really important. Because Prabhupada would, one time Prabhupada said, and it's quite interesting what Prabhupada said. He said, in every life you've taken from Krishna, every single life, we just take. He said, why don't in this life you give back? Because that'll be something you've never done in the whole time you're in the material world. You never gave back. Why not in this life give back? And then another thing he said, you've had so many lives, you've done so many things, why don't you give this one life to Krishna? And if it doesn't work, you'll get another life. Then you can go back and do whatever you want. So it was kind of, in a sense, like, is he serious? Does he mean, but his point was that it's rare. And what are you giving up? It's just one out of unlimited numbers of lives. Try it and see. Give it to Krishna with enthusiasm. It's really, really unfortunate if we take the Krishna consciousness, but we don't take it deeply, because then we don't experience it. And then it becomes really difficult to do it. And I'm sure we've all, from time to time, have had that experience that I'm not tasting the nectar. And when I'm not tasting the nectar, it's very difficult. And really we're making it difficult on ourselves, because we're living in a way that we're not able to taste the nectar. Maybe we're not associating well. Maybe we're not reading. Maybe we're not chanting well. Maybe material attachments are controlling us. And then we don't experience the nectar of Krishna consciousness. And then we suffer. And we're causing our own suffering. So I would request you, be kind on yourself. Like, take Krishna consciousness enough that you're satisfied, that you experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Take your holy name well enough so that every morning when you chant, it's an amazing experience. That's being kind on yourself, don't you think? Some of you may have attended our course on self-care. In my lectures on self-care, I make a statement, and I'm going to make it today, that taking the time and making the effort to chant good rounds, I believe, is the highest form of self-care, the highest form of self-love you can give yourself. Because if you do that, everything good will come from that. And we are the ones that have to do it. We have to actually do it for ourselves. Nobody can do it for you. Your guru can't do it for you. Prabhupada can't do it for you. They can only guide you to what you have to do. And so, what a benevolent form of self-care to take the holy name and chant it properly. You're doing yourself the greatest good. And What can be a greater form of self-harm than shnick, shnick, mom, mom? Think about it. We're harming ourselves, we're depriving ourselves of the strength and the nectar that comes through the holy name. So we have to be our own well-wishers. We have to be our own blessers. We have to bless ourselves. You can bless you always want the blessings of others. You can bless yourself as well. You can bless yourself with properly chanting, right? And so that's the greatest form of self-care, self-love you can give yourself, is take the holy name properly. Yes? Anything else? Anyone else want to share from this morning? Yes?
You were also sharing about the shadow holy name.
Yeah.
That is good.
The shadow holy name.
You were saying that how when we just have when we feel that Maya is too strong, that's because that day in the breakfast we had shadow chanting.
Yeah. We had shadow pakoras for breakfast, and I'm still hungry. You might say, where's this shadow japa? It's there in Shastra, but we have all chanted 16 rounds and felt like we didn't eat anything. We all have that experience, right? Like, it's a very discouraging experience to realize that after 16 rounds you weren't actually chanting properly, and you don't feel inspired. You feel like you felt before. You were hungry before, and you're still hungry. That's the proof that there is such a thing as the shadow of the holy name. You want to hear something really interesting? You want to hear something interesting? Do you want to hear something interesting? This is really interesting. In the full workshops, we have more time, so we do more exercises. And so one of the exercises we do is to take out a flip chart and ask devotees, how do you feel when your rounds are poor? You just didn't chant good rounds. How do you feel after that? And then we write down. And so devotees write down, disappointed, frustrated, I failed my guru, depressed. All negative emotions. And you already know this because you've experienced this when you didn't chant well. Yes? It's not a happy feeling. And so I was trying to point out to devotees that this is not, if you feel this way, it's because of namaparad, or chanting a shadow name. Because how could it be possible that you would feel this way if you were associating with Krishna? Impossible. I just spent 2 hours with Krishna. Oh my God, really? How do you feel? Depressed, frustrated, like a failure, wanting to give up. It's impossible, right? I just had the most amazing rounds of my life today. How did you feel? It's incredible. I just was like feeling so blissful, ecstatic, satisfied. So I was just trying to make the point of what Shastra says, is that there is a shadow of the holy name, a reflection. It's not really the holy name. And sometimes we chant that, and that's why we feel all these ways. There's another interesting point. If we want to effectively share the holy name with people, and specifically if we want to help people learn how to chant well, learn how to chant properly, learn how to taste the nectar of the holy name, how important is it for us to be doing that? It's extremely important. How can you convince somebody of the importance, genuinely convince them of the importance of chanting, if you don't experience that yourself? And so one of the most important things we have to do in this movement is teach people how to chant without offenses. Like what I said this morning, you should just give that to every person when you give them the beads. Say, watch this lecture. That should be the first thing they hear, right? And that should be how we're chanting every day. We have to be acharyas, nam acharyas. That's so important. And if we are not experiencing the nectar of the name, how can you communicate that? Like, did you ever try to tell somebody something is really good, but you don't believe it, or you don't experience it? It's a very weird thing. It's just, there's nothing in your physiology or your face that shows that you like what you're saying you like. Chant Hare Krishna and make you happy, and you're chanting Hare Krishna and you're bored. And you're trying to tell people chant Hare. It's not going to communicate. It's impossible to communicate, unless you're a good actor. You'll have to act it out. So these two things are extremely important. Our chanting must be pure, and we must train new people to learn what is real chanting right from the beginning, and they will develop the habit, and they will be easier for them because they learned the right way in the beginning. You can't teach anything you don't live. You can try, but it's not effective in the long run. Hare Krishna. So we can either continue the sharing or you can ask questions. We have 9 minutes, right? Oh, kirtan. What's a kirtan? Okay. Kirtan. Okay. All right, we'll do kirtan. All right. I'm going to do a special kirtan for you. I am going to, okay, I have to tell you a story. I'm a little bit of a songwriter, musician, and so one day I was thinking, it would be interesting to chant the Maha Mantra in English. Like if there is such a thing, you know, like is there such a thing? Maha Mantra in English. It's just names, like how do you chant it in English? Well, this idea came from a statement by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he said, we should meditate on the meanings of the holy name, which is kind of what we're doing now, because all your prayers can be considered a meaning of the holy name. And the Acharyas give us different meanings, and of course we know Prabhupada said one of the meanings is what? Krishna, please let me serve you, engage me in your service. And so, because I taught so many Japa workshops, and I saw that the whole problem was that devotees were disconnected from the meaning, and their only meaning was, Krishna, help me get these rounds done. That was like, that's their meaning, more or less, right? Or just help me control my mind. The whole time your mind's out of control, you're just praying to control a mind that's uncontrolled. It's like, so I saw that, and I said, no, the Acharyas give us meanings like Krishna, pull my heart to you, Krishna, accept me. I'm like, oh, and those are beautiful meanings to connect with when you chant. So I thought, why don't we translate some of those meanings, and then we can chant those meanings, and that way we'll be chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in English. And I did it, and they still haven't kicked me out of ISKCON yet, so I think it's bona fide. Yeah. If it's not, I'll be getting a letter from the GBC any day soon. You know, you cannot chant the Maha Mantra in English; it doesn't exist. You can't? Well, I've done it for 2 years. You know, well, it works. So I'm going to chant it in English for you. I will. Some of you may know it already, but it's very simple. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart. These are 5 meanings, 4 meanings of the Maha Mantra. That 3 are from Prabhupada, and the last one is from, I think, Gopal Guru, maybe. Please bring my heart closer to your heart. So I just want to explain the meanings a little bit, and then we'll chant it, and then we'll chant the Maha Mantra after it. We'll chant the actual Maha Mantra, but we'll chant it in English first. And I've done this with non-devotees, and it was worked really well, because everyone, by doing this, connects with it, and then we sing. And so when we're singing Hare Krishna, we've just sung it in English, so we actually know what we're singing. So I wanted to tell you something about what Prabhupada said about Krishna, please engage me in your service. There are lectures in which Prabhupada explains this, and one of the things he explains, which I found so maybe obvious, but I never really thought of it, please engage me in your service also means please don't engage me in Maya's service. So that helps us. Oh, that's when I say, when I'm chanting, I'm praying for protection. Krishna, protect me from giving in to your inferior, illusory energy. It also doesn't mean just engage me in service, but it means help me understand I am a servant. The bhav, the ego, give me the ego of a servant, because I have the ego of a little god right now, a little controller. Give me the ego of a servant. So please engage me in your service means protect me from Maya. Put me under the shelter of your superior energy and let me realize that I'm not a master and controller, but I'm a servant. That's what it means. So whenever you say, the Maha Mantra means please engage me in your service, this is an expanded meaning. If you give me more time, I could expand. Well, let me expand a little more. When you first came to Krishna consciousness, you could feel the need to connect with God in a deeper way, right? And you could feel this need to get away from Maya because Maya was causing you pain, right? And so, something it's good to be aware of, that the meaning of this mantra is something we already have experience of because we wanted Krishna and we wanted service and we wanted to get out of Maya, right? So we're chanting a prayer it is exactly what we want, we feel. It's not artificial, right? We feel this all the time. Please help me, please give me shelter under your internal potency. So then we have this, oh Radha Krishna, please, oh my friend, that was something that Prabhupada said. One of the meanings of the mantra, my friend, my friend. And then please accept me, in a relationship. I walked away from you, I want to come back, please accept me. And then bring my heart closer to your heart. Make my desire your desire. What you want, make it what I want. And as I said earlier today, another thing is, Krishna, let me love you. This was after class, we talked about this. Let me love you. Let me serve you, let me love you. So you want to try chanting in English? If the GBC kick me out, I'll tell them you're all innocent because you just followed me. So you don't have to worry. So I will sing it. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart. And we'll do it for a while, and then as soon as you pick up on it, we'll just sing it all together. And then I think you will see when we chant the Maha Mantra, we've set ourselves up to connect to the meaning, and it's going to be a very beautiful experience. Are you ready? Are you enthusiastic? O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart, O Radha, Krishna, please engage me in your service. Oh, my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart. Oh, Radha, oh, Krishna, please engage me in your service. Oh, my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Viva. Oh Radha, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. Oh my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Go, go, go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
One more time, everyone, together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, everyone together. Hare Saboliye Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, please engage me in your service. Oh, my friend, please accept me. Bring my heart closer to your. Bring my heart. Bring my heart, bring my heart closer to your heart. Bring my heart, bring my heart, bring my heart closer to your heart. Bring my heart, bring my heart. Bring my heart closer to your heart. Bring my heart, bring my heart, bring my heart closer to your heart. Nitai Gaura Pramanandi Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Advaita Acharya. Whatever I said today, whatever was good, it was Advaita Acharya's mercy. It's just, I really feel his mercy today. And I just wanted to wish you wonderful Japa tomorrow. Wonderful. And we'll be here at what time? 7? We'll begin tomorrow again at 7:30.
Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank His Grace Mahatma Prabhu for sharing his wonderful reflections and realizations with us. Also, the books that Prabhuji has written on Japa, if you want to improve your Japa and understand more on it, please, there's a table put outside. Kindly buy the books from there. There's also a set of pen drives which has his lectures and his kirtans and some more seminars on that. So you could also have a look at those pen drives which are available at this stop. Thank you very much. So today morning we could not serve prasadam to all of you. Today was Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Please honor prasadam and then leave. Tomorrow morning we once again meet here at 7:30. We can meet at 4:30 also for chanting. But the session will begin at 7:30 and we continue till 9, and then there will be prasadam, breakfast prasadam for everyone. Thank you very much. Tomorrow being a holiday, weekly off, Saturday, please do try to come. And on Sunday morning we have His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu who will be here for the morning Bhagavatam class. Thank you.